most amount of sense, and where you're not going above and beyond for no reason. You know the reason you're going above and beyond because you out there, you handling somebody's mother's life, you handling somebody's daughter life, somebody's son, somebody's dad, stuff of that nature. So I tell you right now, I graduated 2 years ago. I have not used MX plus B equals Y since. I have yet to use it, and I've only been out 2 years. And that's why I feel like it was perfect for me to come to Alfred State versus any other college, because it is hands-on with real-world situations and scenarios.
So, we are back with another episode of Real Talk. My name is Julius Kurdakowski. I'm here with
Sam Quang. It's my boy Samuel, back on the show. Excited. We're here with a special guest, but I'll let Julius do the honors.
Listen, man, introduce yourself, man. Tell us who you are.
I had a lot of people on campus know me as Preach, but it's Jaylon. Well, it's going to be Preach for sure.
Okay,
right,
so when you see him on campus, you just call him Preach. Yep. The first time he said, I was like, this dude Preach, like you preach, bro. But he does preach though.
He's the preacher, man.
I preach, but I preach like real life things. I'm not a preacher like to the choir. Yeah, I'm a logical person. I speak with logic. I don't like to do extra stuff. I just straight to the point. We go talk about the real common issue, the real reason we here right now.
Facts.
All right, man. So tell us a little about yourself. Where you're from? What's your major? Give us a bit of a background on Preach.
Small background on Preach. I'm from Buffalo, New York. My major is automotive service technician, and trying to think. I don't know. That's all you
from east side of Buffalo? The east side, or where you from?
Yeah. I grew up like in Bailey, like the Bailey area, so the east side of Buffalo. And then, like, early on in my childhood, I was moved out to Cheektowaga. So I've been out in Cheektowaga. Well, I was in Cheektowaga for the last 16 years, but we recently just moved to Sweet Home. So it's a little better part of the suburbs in Buffalo.
Yeah, because I got family in Depew and Lancaster. So, I know some of the area. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
So it's cool to know. I didn't even know that you were there.
Yep. Yeah, from Buffalo.
Hell yeah. All right. So, right, we brought you on. You are aren't you the VP of Wellsville?
I am the Vice President of Wellsville Affairs.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's a bit of a journey, It's definitely a great opportunity that I'm very appreciative to have, but we find our battles and we just work through them as we do. We don't really, as Wellsville, most students over on Wellsville, if we got a problem, regardless if we got the correct tools, we go figure it out. That's how we do.
Yeah, leadership. And what made you choose Alfred State to go to school?
That's a real good question. So originally, I started off my whole background with automotive. It really wasn't up until about high school. I really just always loved cars from a young age, but all the way up until high school, I didn't have no type of hands-on, nothing. The rest of my family, they all played sports and stuff of that nature, and I never really had nobody that paved the way for me.
So you taught yourself that mechanic and big
I ain't
fixing?
gonna say I taught myself, but my school offered an Erie One BOCES program. So through the Erie One BOCES program, basically my junior and senior year, I left halfway throughout the day, whether it was in the morning or it was in the evening, and I went to a technical school off campus, and I just learned about vehicles, just learned about cars for 2 years, and that's kind of where everything started. And through the midst of that, I was working at a dealership called Capilino Cadillac. So I was working on Cadillacs, working on Chevys, working on, whatever GM brand that came through the shop for that day. And they was kind of gearing me towards going to, what school was it? Oh, Monroe up in Rochester. But the thing I ain't like about Monroe is that they only worked on GM products. So your Chevys, your Cadillacs, your GMCs.
You were limited.
Yeah, I was limited. I didn't like that at all. I wanted to be able to know how to work on whatever vehicle I'm presented, even though I don't like working on all vehicles. But I did want to be able to have the experience to say that I did touch most, if not all, vehicle brands.
You want to be multifaceted. You want to be able to touch these different type of cars and know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of that, all right, what's your favorite type of car, favorite brand? What do you lean towards? If there's one that we could pull up a picture of right now, what would that be for you?
All right. So my dream car. Well, I'm going to say dream collection of cars because I like every generation of them except for the fourth gen. The fourth gen, I hate it. I promise you, I hate the fourth gen. But I'll say a Camaro, whether it's a Z01 or a SS, one or the other. But I love Camaros. It's just the sleekness of them, how smooth they are. Even though they one of the smaller muscle, or I ain't gonna say smaller, but the interior is smaller in the Camaro, I feel like it's just perfect for me. I done drove a few of them. I got a great feel for them. I done hauled ass in a few of them, but
listen, man, there's nothing compared to American muscle cars, man.
there you go.
You know, during that period, right, we had, right, when Ford was still in Detroit, right, that Ford factory was still in Detroit making all those cars, bro.
Yep.
You couldn't touch American muscle cars.
Yep.
My car knowledge is quite limited. I used to love really cars when I was younger, like racing cars, collecting the Hot Wheels and stuff.
Yeah.
But I never really delved deep, you know. I got.
Bro, you ever just, you know, just like crash those cars into each other? Like,
Yeah, oh yeah, everybody.
all
I'm
the
sure
time, bro.
everybody's done that.
Bro.
Yeah, that was the time, man.
Bro, me and my cousin, right, we'd have like 10 cars, and you chuck them at each other, right?
Yeah.
Like you take one car, you zoom it at it,
Yep.
and see how many you can get off the line.
Yeah, that's the childhood, man. You know what I'm saying? This generation coming up don't know.
Nah, word. They don't.
Yeah.
This generation it's gonna be
It's different.
interesting to watch. It's gonna be very interesting to watch, but nothing bad. I don't think it's gonna be bad, but it's just gonna be a different aspect of life.
I always describe it as like more, right? It's not even that it's like the stuff we're more accepting of is like good or bad. It's just there's more stuff you kind of got to be aware of.
Yeah.
You can't really be on an island all by yourself.
There you
Yeah,
go.
you got to know yourself and know that, like, because like humans, you can get like sucked into different things, you know, and you just like
Down the rabbit hole, man.
yeah, exactly.
You know, you don't want to be insulting people. You don't want to be offending people.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be like at least a little bit on the
I mean, it depends. You know, I mean, once you get to a certain level, say, especially, I feel like Jaylon is very ambitious. Like, once you get to a certain level, it says like you can't really care like who you're gonna piss, because there's gonna be people that are pissed off at you.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
That reminds me of a quote from Snoop Dogg, man. He talked about, right, in his business, right, there are levels, man. People bring you up or down, right? Who you're surrounded with, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are they a positive or a negative in your life? Because, you know.
Yeah, that's
you're
facts.
you're one person in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you got to surround yourself with good people, you know, people that bring you up.
So would you say that 'cause I know what's special about this school, but would you say the school is helping you on track with like your passion? I'm guessing you're not limited by which vehicle you need to work on.
For sure. Over the last 3 semesters, because this is only my 3rd semester, I've touched many vehicles. I've touched many makes, many different years from 90s all the way up to early 2020, you know, stuff like that. So it's not like I'm just limited, like I'm only stuck working on one make or one model. I'm literally working on whatever comes into the shop that day, and you don't know. It could be something that's nice and new, or it could be something that's rusty, and you got to pull out the torches to get a few bolts loose. It's literally just whatever that comes into the shop for that day, and that's like the beauty of the thing, because it's really like a real life experience of what you're gonna get out in the actual field. It's not gonna be like something that is not realistic. This
Just head knowledge, yeah.
Everything is realistic. Everything that you're doing in the shop, you're going to be doing out in the field once you graduate.
Yeah, that's what I love about Alfred State, and it's
It's technical as hell.
yeah.
Right? I heard somebody talk about, right, they were looking at, right, what Alfred State offered compared to other places, like other technical schools.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see sports programs combined with technical schools, right? The guy was talking to me how he found one other school like Alfred State, and it was in Virginia.
Yeah.
So you can't get like the multifacetedness of this college really anywhere else. That's what's so cool about it.
Word.
So
No, you got it, man.
yeah. So what's like your aim, or where you trying to go with that in life? And I know a little bit because we've had conversations before, but like you know, yeah, what are you trying to do?
If I'm being honest, my end goal, I ain't even gonna say end goal, because you never know where life could take you. You know, it's never, like I said, it's a never-ending list of opportunities. So I couldn't really say end goal, but what I envision for myself, let's say by 40, 35, let's be early with it. Let's be early with it. Let's be optimistic. By 35, I envision myself probably owning my own dealership, whether it's a small dealership or it's a more mainstream dealership, and just continuing to grow from there, you know, becoming my own boss and showing people not only the right way to do it, but the way to do it where it makes the most amount of sense, and where you're not going above and beyond for no reason. You know the reason you're going above and beyond, because you out there, you handling somebody's mother's life, you handling somebody's daughter's life, somebody's son, somebody's dad, stuff of that nature. So that's a lot of things that I think about in my day-to-day work when I'm working on other people's vehicle. Like, I want to make sure that there's nothing that I did to this vehicle that's going to inhibit this person from returning home to their family.
That's
my sister, what do you call it? There was a car. She put her car in the ditch, right? And the tire, the tie rod wasn't good.
Yep.
So it was really weird. Like we had someone, like I went to, a Monroe muffler or something.
Yeah.
Some place to get it checked out. Just make sure that all the stuff was good, because I ditched, like the car got in the ditch.
Yeah.
Dude, and guess what? Like, I feel like they didn't even check the tie rod.
It happens.
And then, a couple months later, she's on the road with it. The tie rod fails on that same side that went in the ditch. And I was like,
damn.
They probably could have checked. You know how you check a tie rod, Sam?
Bro.
Nah, literally. You know what they do? They literally have a guy. They literally pull on it to make sure that
that's all you have to do?
Yeah.
Tie rod and ball joint is left and right. So basically you grab the tread of the tire and you don't turn it so that the whole axle shift with it, but you want to see if it's any play in it. So basically, if it's any movement before the actual wheel begin to turn, that's bad. That's when you need to know. That's the knowledge to know that it's time to change that. And then up and down, that's wheel bearing. Or is it up and down wheel bearing or left? I think up and down is wheel bearing, and then left and right is tie rod. If not, it's vice versa. My fault for the folks that's watching this that actually know the answer. You do it so much that you end up forgetting about it, but. Yeah, but that's serious.
But she ended up crashing her car because I don't think somebody checked it. I think somebody got it up on the left. They're like, it looks straight enough. I don't think anyone checked that tie rod.
Yeah.
And considering that was in an accident.
Exactly. There's a lot of things you can improve with mechanical. I realize with some people, because they know that other people don't have that skill, the mechanic skill. They just be having their price a high price, and if you don't really know what you're doing, especially this happens to mostly ladies, but even guys that doesn't know more about their vehicle, they go to a dealership and then they tell them this big price, and then they just look at it and they do a few things, but they don't really dive deep and try to find those little
things. It's
things.
Getting sold by a salesman, right? Sometimes they tell they're good business practices versus bad ones, right? The bad ones are telling you probably need more than you do. You really got to find someone who can work on your car that you really trust.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because with anything, there's good business and bad business.
Yeah, that's why I like what you said right there. That will take you far in business. A lot of people just look at the short term, just getting the profit. But what's really valuable is that how you were thinking, think about the mom and the family, and think about that, because that's long-term relationship, and that's why I know that. Yeah.
And it's personal. It's personal to me because I am the mechanic of my family. In my household, what is it? I say it's about, in my household, my mom, my dad, me, my brother, my other brother, my sister, we don't all live together, but underneath my family circle, I work on about 6 to 7 cars. And that's just in my family. It's outside people that's relying on me to work on their cars, my friends. I'm their mechanic. Anything they need done, I'm doing it. They not looking towards somebody else unless I'm here at Alfred. That's the only time they going to talk to somebody else or they got somebody else doing their work. They only have me do it because they trust me. They know I'm not going to be running off with their money. They know I'm actually doing the work that I'm going to do. And for the most part, they sit there and I teach them how to do it themselves.
Business integrity, man.
Exactly. That's cool.
Job, integrity in your work.
Yep.
The way you do one thing is the way you do all things.
Exactly.
It's a good quote.
Yeah, and believe it or not, and that's why because I know you read books and stuff like that. But I'm reading a book called Speed of Trust. Is the one that they give to orientation leaders over summer. And what you're mentioning right there by just telling them the information, that's literally at trust level. You're offsetting the trust. It's not like you're scared that they're gonna do it by themselves or try to do it by themselves to cut costs, but because you were open to do that, they were gonna trust you even more to come to you and stuff like that. So that's just a principle, because I think people sometimes the concepts get inverted, where people think it's just about getting the profits and about growing and to a degree there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there like that, and that's why the US is the way it is. But there's also ones that is really putting value at the core, and that's cool.
Well, sometimes it's sad, right? You're talking about the US. Sometimes the US is built on business, right? That's why the Ford factory moved out of Detroit.
But the thing is, business is good. Now we're creeping
Business
into politics.
isn't bad.
We're
Listen,
creeping
business is never business. I ain't gonna say business is never bad because there's definitely bad.
No, business itself is not bad. People,
people. There you go. Yeah,
monopolies
people
over entire sections of the
yeah,
market.
like Rockefeller.
Yeah, literally.
You start. We
the
go
oil
deep.
industry,
Yeah,
we want to go
tycoons,
deep.
That's literally the whole part of what was it? U.S. government, U.S. history.
I mean, they created they created the school system.
Yeah, they started teaching us about Rockefeller back in 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah, but how deep you know about Rockefeller though?
Man, he took over everything.
Yeah, you know this.
He was the oil tycoon.
But he also created school, and like I was watching this video, and like they were talking. Well, we get deep, bro. I was watching this video, and they're talking about Rockefeller, like his intentions. Like he actually studied certain like systems that they had like in neo-Nazis and stuff. And like even though we don't have like the neo-Nazis program, but
research.
Yeah, he was studying psychology, and he wanted to apply that to the school, basically to create a bunch of workers, and that's why the America is where it is, to create a bunch of workers and stuff like that. It's still one of the most free societies, but school itself, it doesn't teach you how to make money and be autonomous by yourself. You have to learn that on your own. You know, it teaches you how to just be
because like
in
school
the system
nowadays, right? Public school, I will say, teaches you almost one type of intelligence, right? How do you read a book and reciprocate?
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Does that really tell you, does that teach you emotional intelligence? Does that teach you music theory? Does that teach you pattern recognition?
No,
there's like
none of that.
There's like 7 or 8 types of intelligences that really don't get covered in school that much.
It don't teach you none of that. And I like that you said emotional intelligence, because it's a lot. High school, I ain't gonna say high school, but it definitely need to be more talks about emotional intelligence and knowing how to maneuver throughout your emotions through life, because as you get older it becomes harder. It becomes 10 times harder to maneuver through your emotions when you've been stuck in your ways for so long and only doing what you know best, or what you came up seeing in the household.
You're a product of your environment.
Exactly.
So like, that's good and a bad thing, right? Like there are good parts of it where like your mom could teach you how to make a good meal.
Yep.
But your mom could also teach you, how to only do things one way, or how to, if it's not my way, it's the highway.
Yeah.
Right? No compromise.
And that's very big in a lot of families. Like you just said, it's product of your own environment. That's good in some aspects, but it's bad in others. And when you see the bad, once you start to recognize the bad within yourself, you need to learn how to adapt to that and make your own changes, because you don't have to be like your parents. You don't have to be like what you see. Exactly. You can be your own complete different person.
Get rid of those generational curses.
That's facts, yeah.
You know how to end bad habits.
It starts in the mind. It really does start in the mind.
And the realization of yourself. Right? Yeah. Like how are you, a part of your environment? How are you affecting other people?
Or,
and how do you maneuver that?
You got to. You gotta learn. You have to learn.
At some point, everybody does. Mm-hmm. At some point, everyone has to learn, right? How do we maneuver in this big world?
Yeah,
that's facts. That's facts.
But we can kind of shift this over to Wellsville a little bit.
For sure.
What do you like about the Wellsville campus, and what do you not? I want the good and bad.
I've heard a couple stories, but I don't know.
I'm gonna say the good. We got some really good instructors over there. Very knowledgeable people. Very, very knowledgeable people. They're not gonna tell you nothing wrong. They're not gonna tell you nothing that they didn't have to do or learn themselves. So I feel like instructors over there, they're very helpful. They're very hands-on with you. If it's something that you don't know how to do, they're gonna take their time out of their day to teach you. Like I said, that's one thing I greatly appreciate over there at Wellsville. The bad, I really shouldn't be talking bad about, because me being VP, I shouldn't be talking about my area.
Change, man.
Nah, you
ignore it, man.
Nah, you right. I ain't gonna ignore it. I just gotta shout out, let them know that I care about them. That's all. I'll say the bad though. We got a really bad parking situation.
That's everywhere.
It's everywhere. It's definitely everywhere, but Wellsville is so bad. I mean, it's to the point we all bringing our cars into the shop because we ain't got nowhere to park. We trying to avoid tickets and stuff like that. And I mean, granted, UP, they doing their job. They doing what they supposed to. I ain't mad at them at all. We nipped that in the bud. We handled the situation that I was mad at them for, but besides that, they doing their job. I can't be mad at them for too much at all. But I say parking is probably one of our biggest issues as of right now, and we trying to figure out ways to negate that and stuff of that nature. But I would say another thing is, I don't even really know if I could say this. I mean, I'll say it because I know I can, but I don't want to say it's an all the way true statement because you see it happening sometimes, but it's not as much as some people or myself would like. I say it's kind of a little groupie, like people come up with their own groups of friends over there.
Clicks.
Yeah, it's clicky.
Clicks.
Very clicky, my bad. Clicks, yeah. You got your own clique from class or whatever the case is, and I just see a few students that like I see on a constant day-to-day basis, and they just by themselves every day, by themselves, eating lunch by themselves, going to the PSU by themselves. It's just like, to me, I don't know if it's so much of them wanting to be a loner, because some people are extroverts and they don't like to talk to people.
Some people are introverts.
Yeah, that's A-okay by me. And some people, like you said, are introverts, but I see a lot of it just like students being by themselves. So I don't know. I guess I have to look more into that, but we are trying to create things to help with that. Like we talking about creating a billiards league, a pool league for students.
8-ball, man.
Yeah, 8-ball league for students and staff, and then also bring in it's still in the works, but hopefully we could get it situated before the end of this semester. We talking about bringing a console room to the PSU.
Oh, like Games Nation or have here.
Yeah, a little more smaller scale, of course, because it's not as much of us over there, and we don't have the funding like that. But I don't know if we go do Xbox, Switch, PlayStation, but it's in the works of us.
That makes sense though. Yeah. Like creating like environments for like students to bond
somewhere
where it's like
bringing more community to the PSU.
Yeah. Well, you don't even necessarily have to pay for consoles, right? Like a lot of guys have a PS4, PS5, True. Xbox 360, Xbox One, not Xbox 360. That's old. But
I still got mine.
I got mine too. That's my first console. Xbox 360, first console ever gone.
Dude, shout out to Call of Duty Black Ops 2, man. I love zombies, man.
I had the 360 Black Slim.
But if you create a space for that, like, as long as that like students know about it, they'll fill it.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you set up some TVs that people can just hook up with an HDMI cord, that there's a start, man.
And that's what we push it for.
As you should, man, because Wellsville students matter. They make up a large population of this campus. Yeah. And that's a big deal of getting you here today. Like, our goals of reaching that campus more.
Oh, yeah. I was talking. I might. There's a father and son that I heard are at Wellsville, like students. I don't know if you know them.
Like a father as a student and
so they go. They're going back for. Yeah, I met them while working at Crosby's.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I don't remember if I have their name, but I had their name. I was like, yo, maybe we should have you on the podcast to talk about
Wellsville. I would definitely love to come on a podcast with them. That if you could figure out who that is, I would love to see that.
It's kind of interesting. Like, how do you have like your father and his son? Like that's a crazy dynamic in the same class.
Not always replicable.
Yeah, not at all.
Even me, my dad passed away a while ago.
Sorry to hear that.
But hey, we're not gonna be in school at the same time.
There you
go. So it'll be interesting to see like their perspective on that.
Yeah, and I mean, even just I would love to talk to the son and just see how do you feel about that. Like, how does that make you feel seeing you in the same position as your dad? Like, it got to be a great feeling because me compared to my dad, we two completely different people. So it's like, and he indulges in on my life. Of course he does, and I try to indulge on his life too. Like, I done had him come to the junkyard with me, and he was really excited. Like, he's never been to the junkyard before. He was really excited. So that helped me. It made me feel good because, it was me and my dad getting a chance to bond and stuff like that. But I would really like to talk to those students, father and son, because I feel, it's a father. So I feel like I'm being a little disrespectful by just saying he's a student. But, I want to say father and son more so because, that got to be a wonderful experience on both behalves.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if y'all saw on like Twitter, but like LeBron James and Bronny, they played a match together for the first time.
Dude, they have a situation that's 1-of-1.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I know they're, like you said, there are father-son, duos learning across,
Yeah.
Or like father-sons in the same sort of business. That happens a lot because obviously, business turnover.
Yeah.
Legacy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What legacy you leave, but man, like, having two, people in your family is, athletes on the Lakers.
Yep.
Like, not just any team, not Dallas Mavericks, not the
Nah,
Timberwolves.
the Lakers.
That
On the
chemistry.
LA Lakers, a cornerstone franchise,
There
right?
you go.
Them, Boston, like it's the Lakers, Boston, and the 76ers with Dr. J.
Yeah.
But being a cornerstone franchise, having that situation play out in front of your own eyes.
Yeah, that's a crazy
Like,
situation.
He's gonna catch a pass from his dad and
I gotta
bucket. Like,
I gotta watch that.
That's a crazy thought, right?
Yeah, my dad passed me the ball. You can't say that.
Not everyone can say, "Hey, in an NBA game, my dad passed me the ball. And we were both playing to win."
Yeah, the real question is he gonna stay for the other son to come in? Yeah, because what is he, a sophomore or a junior in high school?
He's got a couple years.
He got like 3-4 years. If he stay for that,
that's insane.
LeBron might be the craziest man I know.
Problem is
but he's a beast though. He's still a beast. Like he's still. I don't know if he's peaked yet.
I feel like he'll start to slow down though. Not playing every game.
Yeah, he'd become more of a rotational guy.
Yeah,
he can do what he can do, but is he really going to be playing at like the Cleveland years?
Yeah,
hey man, if you have the will, there's a way, man. Like this dude, I don't think he's peaked yet. You
don't think Bron?
What do you guys? You think
Bron definitely peaked? Bron definitely peaked.
You think he peaked?
2015, 16, 17 Cavs.
I'm gonna say that Cavs to
What was it? When did they win? 2016 or 2015? The year that they won. Like,
but I couldn't tell.
But you might peak physically, but you can't peak like mentally. You can always grow mentally.
Yeah,
obviously
like him.
And
the Shaq thing.
And he
can
see
movies into Hollywood.
Yeah.
Because his view of the game now is obviously way different from back then. Because his brain has so many different points to predict the game on.
Yep, he's
so that's what's really cool.
But yeah, no, Bron definitely peaked during that Cavs and Golden State run. That was that peak era. Because it was that 3 or 4 series back to back.
Dude, and J.R. Smith was talking about how, I don't know if it was J.R. Smith, but it was one of the teammates. It might have been Shump. I'm in Shupart.
Yep.
I'm not even sure if I'm saying his
name
right.
I could never.
But it was Shump, right? Like I know him as Shump, right? Because he was on the Cavs. But he was talking about it. He's like, we knew going into that series, right, or that year, that 3 or 4 year span, right?
Yeah.
Whoever won the most titles, right? That's what basketball was gonna shape as.
Yeah.
That was the future of their game.
Yep.
It wasn't gonna whoever wins more out of that, because obviously you have the more effective play style.
There you go.
Which unfortunately, just because of points, was the Golden State Warriors, man.
Yeah.
And now you see everyone shooting threes. I mean, what do you call it? Rondo was a good example, man. A transitional player, right? He went from being on the Celtics, being more of a guy that drives and passes, to when he was on the Lakers that year that they won. What was it, 2020 in the bubble?
Yeah.
Like he was scoring a lot more threes, man.
Well, you guys know more about basketball. I'm more like the offset, bro. I don't be diving deep into the topic, so that's when I say something like that, I'm like, okay, you guys educated me,
I don't either, but I stay in tune though. I say that I don't follow every player. I don't see who's coming into the draft, who coming from what school. That's not, and I don't even do that for football. I just go Bills. That's it. Go Bills. I ain't got nothing for no other team. Just go Bills. But
Buffalo, man.
What LeBron has done for his community too, right? I think he set up a school.
Oh yeah,
back. Like
he did that a while ago too. He said that school been up for a minute. It's probably about 10 years. Yep, it probably been about 10 years.
I mean, that's a principle, man. Yeah.
More recent was them winning in Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was big.
Yeah,
that was big, man. Like at least for me, is I don't know, growing up in this era. Right? When you check on the news sometimes, right, all you see is bad stuff, man.
Yeah.
It was nice to check out the news and be like, nah, LeBron in Paris in that white suit.
And why do you think that is, though? Like, I can't get deep. But why do you think that they focus a lot more on the negative stuff? Cause what does that do to people, Like, it keeps...
sticks out more.
Yeah, but it also limits, because when people are scared, like, and inspired, we can say, inspiring fear, they close, they're, like, people are easier to, it's not, but easy to like, if you're not thinking out why it's easier to control people with fear.
It's way easier.
Because you're narrow-minded, you just focus on yourself.
That's what government is, right? Sometimes it is
so
how do we help the masses, or how do we control the masses? That happens.
Yep.
Yeah. And fear is one of them. Like,
can you explain to me why every 4 years there seems to be some
exactly
like
drastic
disease that pops up.
Yeah, my mentor told me to stay away from the news. I've just been learning that in general. You don't need to know every single thing that's happening. It affects you, you know.
Mind your
you can focus on like if you can actually focus on your life and improving your life, improving your relationships. That's where it's at. Living your life and not being drawn into the narrative and everybody's.
Mind your business.
Exactly.
Mind your business. Mind your manners.
But let's get back though to Jaylon, cause he's the guest. We got. Yo, so now I know you're deep. So what, like, how old are you right now?
I'm 19.
19, yeah. And you're pretty wise for a 19-year-old, like wiser than most of your peers. What do you see like in our generation that you want to improve or help, or things that you think that is affecting our generation, like issues? Because this is real talk. We're here to talk about this. And see how we can improve.
Like we said earlier, that emotional
intelligence,
emotional intelligence, that's a big thing, because people not being able to handle their emotions, it just can go so far left, and it could go so far left to the point where it might not be retractable. You could do something so fast in the blink of a moment, and now you looking at something that you never could have thought you'd be in, whether that's jail, whether that's, God forbid, but becoming deceased or stuff of that nature, and your life could just go so far left off of a split emotional decision.
I didn't really look at it
as young males, right? How oftentimes, like, I know I got aggravated in high school, like someone pressing your buttons, talking all that smack, like, bro, what do you do? Like, you could hit them, but what? Then you got assault charges.
I don't know. See, high school, I always kind of been pretty level-headed. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was some moments where I got fired up. I ain't never.
Bro, some of the girls. Listen.
This guy that's fired up.
Some of the girls, man.
Yeah, the girls was reckless.
We all know that one girl that liked to stir the pot a little bit.
In high school.
That girl, like.
They was reckless, yo.
Oh my god, man. I mean,
crazy.
Yeah, they was reckless. The girls in high school, they was reckless, yo. They definitely was reckless.
But that's what's interesting about like public school or school in general. It is a social experiment.
Yeah.
You are putting people. Probably, some diverse backgrounds, hopefully.
It's a big melting pot, yo. It's a melting pot.
Also, not to downplay, like, school when I was saying that, like, I feel like school has, like, a good role in terms of, like, definitely in terms of they are bringing people together and stuff. I just feel like they should give more people the ability to not only just think within their field, but also question, be able to think critically for themselves. Think for themselves and not just
that's another thing that this generation, I ain't gonna say needs to do. I feel like this generation is doing it a lot, and it's a beautiful thing. But I feel like that's another thing, like the generation before us need to accept more. When we ask why, it should be a reason behind it. It shouldn't just be because or I said so. Why? It's not a problem with why, because for the most part, if somebody asks why, all they doing is looking for
information.
They looking for information. Yeah, that's all it is, and that question why, it, like I said, it can stop a lot of situations. It can stop somebody doing things that they not supposed to, because you just gave them the informational background on why they shouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's right.
Or why do it my way? Why come over to my point of view?
Yeah.
You got to tell me what benefit.
What's so better about your point of view versus my point of view? What's better about you doing it your way versus me doing it my way?
And what are the drawbacks, right?
Exactly.
Why? The question why, like, to me, it's just, in my life, it's been a beautiful question.
And I feel like people don't really, because in school it doesn't teach you, like, how to question. You just get things that are facts. But, like, to find the information that we know right now, people have to explore and question and backtrack and, compare and contrast different things.
You can't be a computer, right? We are human beings, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just be like, they want to teach you how to, like, 2 + 2 is 4.
Yep.
Or, 3 × 6 is 18. Like, you can be computational, but, like, if,
how do you apply that into the real world? How do you apply that to daily things? Because I tell you right now, I graduated 2 years ago. I have not used MX plus B = Y since. I have yet to use it, and I've only been out 2 years. I know people that have been out 6, 8, 10 have never used it.
But I think it's still good that you learn those things. I just feel like it's good, because if you are able to make those connections, you never know where it'll show up in life, where it'll help you. Yeah. So it's just a foundational knowledge, because they don't know, like, what your skills and abilities. It's for each person to really explore that to their full potential.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes
the application is off. Like we can have those formulas come up. Like there's a lot of those formulas that show up in nature, right? The jet airplanes, right? Those are built after a falcon, right? Or the Fibonacci sequence, right? Those are patterns that we see in the real world. Or like you ever seen, like the ripple effect in water.
Yeah.
Like you saw, there are windows that are made after the ripple effect because it's beautiful. Nature, there are a lot of things that are great about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. That's
right. So it's cool to understand that the math goes with that. But do they always excel, like in school, about the application of it? No. Like, I don't want to read a question and, compute an answer. I want to understand what's beautiful about that math.
And that's why I feel like it was perfect for me to come to Alfred State versus any other college, because it is hands-on with real-world situations and scenarios. I mean, I don't work in a dealership as of right now. That was my goal once I graduated high school, because I didn't plan on going to college. I went to college because my mama asked me to. I did not want to go to college. I knew I was going to be good in automotive. I knew I wanted to just go into whatever dealership was going to give me the most amount of money. My mama asked me to go to college. Shout out to my mama. I went to college, and I think it was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. But that is the reason why I'm so grateful I did pick Alfred State, because, like I said, it's real-world scenarios. I don't work in a dealership. I work in a bus garage working on fleet vehicles for Buffalo, for the city of Buffalo. So the stuff that I see that I thought was only going to be applicable to garage work, to shop work, to dealership work, it's not. It's applicable all across the board, whether I'm working on diesel buses, electrical buses, or I'm working on a Camaro, or I'm working on my personal vehicle, or whatever the case is.
You're bringing stuff from the classroom to the real world.
And you just manipulate it into the way that it works.
Yeah, and there's also like a family and a community up here, because I'm sure you can relate. I'm about to ask you, who's your favorite faculty on campus?
That's a big deal, right? Because you have a lot of faculty you work with, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Steve.
But I know.
We know
he the
Dennis,
one.
right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we all know
Who?
Dennis. We know Dennis. Shout out to Dennis, too.
And we saw Steve-O, right, at the America's Got Talent.
Yeah, Africa Talent.
Which he forced me to do. I was not paid for that. I was paid for that. I was paid for that, but that was not scheduled. That was not something that I expected to do. I expected to just watch that, go back to the dorm, and rub my feet together. But that was not expected.
Yeah, he was roller skating at the end.
You got pushed to do something, right?
Yeah.
You just talked about how your mom was a positive influence in your life to push you further.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what we're going back to, like the levels thing, right? The people around you, right?
Yeah.
Your mom, good faculty.
Yeah,
right?
Steve-O.
How do these people push you to be better?
Steve-O, that one. He the one for me. I ain't gonna lie. Me and him, we get into it sometimes. We have our moments where we disagree, but Steve-O, definitely, he the one. He the one that I could come and holler at, whether it's just, Steve-O, let me show you this video real quick, or if it's, mentally I'm not there right now. He the one I could go to. I feel like in every space that I walk into, from elementary school all the way up to now in college, I always found that one person within that environment that I was able to go and chat with when I'm not feeling it, or I just need to be heard, at that moment. And Steve-O, he that one. He the one for me.
He has a
Shout
lot
out
of
to him.
actual emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can go up to him and talk about stuff. Like, he's not going to give you, the walk around.
Yeah, nah,
he will bring to you.
I want to have Steve
concepts.
on the but I forgot. This is reminding me of something.
You
You see, I be forgetting about the things.
Listen, that's another person I love to be
Yeah.
on. I would love to be on a podcast.
Yeah,
with
because
him.
Steve has so much wisdom to impart. I feel like we gotta get him on the podcast,
wisdom.
bro.
It is actually
It's
like
actual
you can tell
wisdom,
that he
yeah.
went through these experiences, right?
Mhm.
And he made himself better.
Yeah.
Right? We can see, like, even as college students, like we see that.
Yeah.
He works hard.
Yeah,
He puts
yeah.
in the hours.
I would say Steve-O, he like that big brother. Like, and mind you, I'm really living like what J. Cole said in that song. Got 2 siblings ahead of him, 2 siblings behind him. No, I got
the middle child. Yeah.
middle child. Yo, I have all blood, right? In front of me, I have 2 brothers, 1 sister. Behind me, 2 brothers, 1 sister. I am smack dab in the middle. So I fully lived that. And like talking to Steve-O, he the baby of the family. So you see a contrast, and I get to understand where he be coming from, so it helps me deal with my younger siblings. But me being a middle child, it helps me understand myself as a person. And then also, like, talking to other people and talking to Steve-O and seeing how he dealt with his older siblings, it also helps me deal with my siblings. Not saying deal with them in a bad way, but just learn how to understand them more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And take that a step further, right? Like you say how you learn from him, how he is a younger sibling.
Yeah.
He probably took, parts of your conversation and that'll
and implemented it in his life.
His middle sibling.
Yeah.
Or his older sibling.
Yep.
Give you, diverse perspectives, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how you innovate, right?
Yeah.
Diversity and inclusion, creates a lot of innovation.
Yeah, man, shout out Steve-O, yo. Definitely got to get him on the podcast. I actually had an idea to have certain faculty on the podcast.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. You get him on there, you got to have me come through. Because you go see, like I said, you go see a lot of, like...
The dynamic, I know.
Yeah, we said, like, me and him, we like two peas in a pod. And for him, pause, because he might feel like that's a pause moment. And I ain't got time to be hearing that, So we go.
He's trying to tell you not to be corny.
Nah. So we go say pause for that, Steve-O. But, you go see how, like... Even, like, when we talk, like, the way we talk, I ain't gonna say the way we talk, but just how he handles himself, it kind of inspires me, and you see it inside of me, how I handle myself. And granted, we both leaders. We both came from leadership roles in our life before we even met each other. So it's just kind of natural, but you go see it from an older perspective of him being 28 to me being 19.
And you want to hear something about that? That reminds me of the path goal theory.
Mm-hmm.
It talks about how to lead, you have to show the way.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what Steve-O is doing in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
He's speaking to the younger population around him. Like he's not just speaking about these things. He's showing people like how to build yourself up, how to become more than what you think you can do.
Nah, word.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve-O, shout out to him. Big shout out to Steve-O. Word.
All right.
Yeah.
You got anything else, Sam?
No, just we can end it with like, what's your worldview and like your vision for like a better world?
What do you bring to Real Talk? What is one thing you'd want to stick with our audience?
Yeah,
today?
something you want to tell to our generation,
Man, it's probably gonna be corny, but really just be yourself. Be yourself. Like I said, I come from a bigger family where my 4 brothers all play sports. My 2 sisters, my one sister, she cheered. Then my other little sister, she stepping into basketball with my brothers. Be yourself. I'm an oddball out of the household, but I have one of the most sought after things. Like everybody in my family, they just talk about how this is just always something that they see me doing, and I'm not shying away from it. I'm literally walking into what I'm supposed to be doing. Find what you feel like is your passion, what's your goal, what you want to do, what's going to make you happy at the end of the day, my bad, and run with it. Just run with it, because that's what I'm doing, and that's what a lot of people that are genuinely happy doing. They find their passion, and they run with it, and they stick to it.
That's facts, yo.
This might be me being a little vulgar, but guess what? We fuck with that.
Yeah,
man. I was the dapper boy, yo. That's right.
For sure.
Yeah,
all right. That's been the show, guys. So, see you next time.
See you next time. Shout out to Real Talk.
Hey.
All right, yo.